Pakistan for decades has been a sanctuary for millions fleeing conflict in neighboring Afghanistan. The bond, forged in shared history and faith, has seen Pakistan host generations of Afghan refugees. However, this long-standing tradition of hospitality is facing a stern test. Recent times have witnessed a palpable shift in the Pakistani government's stance towards Afghan refugees, particularly in cities like Islamabad and Rawalpindi. A wave of arrests, expulsions, and an impending deadline for deportation have sown seeds of fear and uncertainty among the Afghan refugee community. This essay delves into the unfolding situation, exploring the Pakistani government's decisions, the Afghan embassy's concerns, and the profound impact on those seeking refuge on Pakistani soil. The bustling streets of Islamabad and Rawalpindi, once offering a semblance of normalcy for Afghan refugees, are now scenes of apprehension. Pakistani authorities have initiated a crackdown, primarily targeting those without proper documentation. Raids are commonplace, often culminating in arrests and detentions. The Afghan embassy in Islamabad has voiced its alarm, alleging that these actions are part of a broader, unspoken strategy to expel all Afghan refugees from Pakistan. While the Pakistani Foreign Ministry maintains that these measures are purely for facilitating the return of Afghans to their homeland, the fear among refugees is palpable. Families live in a state of constant anxiety, unsure of what the next knock on the door might bring. The situation is particularly dire for those who fled their homes in the wake of the 2021 Taliban takeover. Many arrived with little more than the clothes on their backs, unable to secure proper documentation. They now find themselves caught in a bureaucratic web, vulnerable and without protection. The crackdown has sparked outrage among human rights groups, who criticize the arbitrary nature of arrests and the lack of due process afforded to those detained. The Pakistani government's stance on Afghan refugees has hardened in recent years. The deadline set by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif for the deportation of Afghans awaiting relocation to third countries has further exacerbated the situation. While initially UNHCR-registered refugees were allowed to stay until June 2025, the new deadline of March 31, 2025, has injected urgency and uncertainty into the lives of thousands. The Afghan embassy has criticized the short time frame and the unilateral nature of the decision, asserting that expulsion is imminent for all Afghans, irrespective of their registration status. This shift in policy, analysts say, is driven by a confluence of factors. Domestically, Pakistan is grappling with its own economic challenges, and the presence of a large refugee population has become a convenient scapegoat for some political actors. The government's narrative often emphasizes the strain on resources and the perceived security risks posed by the refugee population. This rhetoric, however, often overlooks the significant contributions Afghan refugees have made to Pakistani society over the years. The future remains uncertain for the millions of Afghan refugees residing in Pakistan. The arrests, expulsions, and looming deportation deadline have created a climate of fear and despair. Families are torn apart, livelihoods disrupted, and the hope of a brighter future seems increasingly distant. The international community must urge Pakistan to reconsider its stance and uphold its obligations under international law. A compassionate and humane approach is needed, one that recognizes the plight of those fleeing conflict and persecution. The Afghan refugee crisis is a complex issue with no easy solutions. However, resorting to mass expulsions is not the answer. It is a matter of human dignity and shared responsibility. The international community must work together to find durable solutions, ensuring that Afghan refugees are treated with dignity and respect, and provided with the opportunity to rebuild their lives in safety and security. The world is watching, and history will judge us by how we treat the most vulnerable among us.